Hi, Sean.
I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
A great host. Sean is great. Listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
Oh, for the longest time, yeah.
New intro, ladies and gentlemen. Courtesy of my good friend Anthony David. His new song, For the Longest Time, is dropping soon. Take a look at it, but you're hearing it here first in the Shelley Winter Show intro. Man, I love to have musical friends that makes his single drops, Anthony David's single drops in a couple weeks. Well, you heard it here first. Listen to that. A talk show that breaks new music. Listen, want to break some news here on the Shelley Winter Show, ladies and gentlemen? We're only here for an hour, so the phone, we don't really turn on the phones on Mondays, you know. It's not Bull, Coach's Show. Coach's Show, UGA Coach's Show comes up next at 8 o'clock, so we're only here for an hour. So let me start off with the big news. Canada caved. Mexico caved. Colombia caved. Venezuela caved. Canada, they caved. Mass deportations are going on. Oh, by the way, in 2 weeks, our hostages are home. DEI programs are getting slashed all over the place. Bureaucracy is being slashed all over the place. Unelected bureaucrats are being tossed about. The FBI is being purged. USAID, we'll get to that. U.S. agency, development, international development. It's USAID. They're canceled, going under the Secretary of State's office, the State Department. XXY, that's it. Sent out email. Hey guys, take away your pronouns. XXXY. Doge has saved billions of dollars, and it's been 2 weeks. 51 intel agents have all lost their security clearance. They are not allowed in the buildings. They are not allowed in the buildings. You remember the 51 intelligence agents that signed that letter? They're not allowed. They have no security clearance. They can't make a dime off of their previous experience. Border crossings, according to Tom Homan, dropped 93% in 2 weeks. And lastly, my friends, water is in the reservoirs in California. 2 weeks. So let me say this, right? I voted for Donald Trump, as many of you know. Many of you told me I was crazy. Some of you said I was nuts. And for the last 2 weeks, everyone's been saying some version of, on social media, some version of, y'all voted for this. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, we did. We voted for every single one of those things. Nothing is a surprise to us. That's what we voted for. And here's why I'm so happy to sit here 2 weeks in. 2 weeks ago, Monday, this is Monday, February 3rd. 2 weeks ago, on January 20th, was 2 weeks ago. This is the 3rd. 2 Mondays ago, he was sworn in. And all of this that I just said to you has transpired in 2 weeks. This is the second week, starting the 3rd week of the Trump presidency. And all of that has been accomplished. And it's just a whirlwind of activity. Now, you can pick apart each single thing that I mentioned. You could say, well, he started. One of the things that I'm hearing with Canada and Mexico, basically saying, hey, yeah, let's work some things out. Come to the table. Let's have a couple calls. Let's work. We'll put 10,000 agents on the border. People saying, well, he started the fire and then brought the water. He didn't start a fire. He threatened to start a fire. He's a kid with a match. He had the matchbook in his hand, the kindling in front of him, and said, I'm going to start this fire unless you do what I want you to do. And everybody said, oh, no, don't do that. We're coming to the table. What do you need? It's how you negotiate. Guy talks a big game and backs it up because he's an American. He's an American president. I got the full weight of the military behind me. I got the full weight of money in the economy behind me. I got the full weight of the American people behind me. What do I want to get done? I got all of this behind me. Give me what I want. Simply put, give me what I want. Don't try and get tough. Don't play tough guy, tough girl. Just give me what I want. Because what I want is not that. I'm not asking for much. The most powerful country in the world. Economically, militarily, and the people are the strongest and most bright and best and brightest people on the planet Earth. They're all here. I shouldn't have to beg. And that's what we're seeing. And everybody should be for this. Yet there's still opposition. And I want to talk about that for 2 or 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes. That's it. We got a lot to talk about because we're only here for an hour. So I just want to cover this in 2 or 3 minutes. If you're a Democrat, I'm not talking about a politician, right? I'm not talking about Democrat Party. I'm not talking about the politicians. I'm not talking about the DNC. I'm not talking about the state legislators who are Democrats here in the state of Georgia. I'm not talking about the city council in Atlanta that's all Democrat, or the mayor who's doing a wonderful job in the city of Atlanta who's a Democrat. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to regular people. If you voted for Kamala Harris and your entire reason to be is simply to oppose everything that Donald Trump does over the next 2 to 4 years, let me tell you what's going to happen eventually. You're eventually going to run into a plan, a policy, or a tweet, or some idea that really does benefit you, but you're not going to see it and you're going to oppose it because you simply hate him. And that's the wrong way to be as a voter. I'm not talking about the party apparatchiks. I'm not talking about those who make money from the party. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about regular people. If you're spending your days on social media opposing everything that you see come down the pike from Donald Trump, you're going to be eventually, inevitably, you're going to be against something that benefits you. And it's a bad way to be. Now, those people that I'm talking to right now will say, well, Shelley, weren't you guys totally opposed to Joe Biden? Not really. Remember, the first couple weeks of Joe Biden's presidency was not spent dealing with much policy. He reversed every single one of Trump's executive orders, and most of us were like, hey, you know what, by reversing those EOs, those executive orders around immigration, you're going to make a flood of people coming through the border. That was our complaint. You know, a bunch of people are going to come across the border if you take away these executive orders, which is what he did, which is what happened. But if you remember during that time in early 2021, it wasn't about Biden and policy. It was about people didn't believe he got 80 million votes. That was most of the criticism of Joe Biden in those early days of his presidency. No one believed he got 80 million votes. Excuse me. No one believed he got 80 million votes. So we weren't sitting back screaming and yelling at the top of our lungs, losing our minds over every little thing Joe Biden did. Now, what we were yelling about was, hey, man, that guy looks demented. That guy looks like he's losing his mind. That man looks like he's old. That's what we were doing. But I'm telling you, if you're a Democrat, not a Democrat Party apparatchik, not a Democrat Party person, not a Democrat where you make money from the party being in power in some way, shape, or form. If you're just a regular voter, an everyday person who votes Democrat and you voted for Kamala Harris, you cannot spend the next 2 to 4 years just sitting on the sidelines arguing and pushing back on every single thing that Donald Trump does. You know why? Because inevitably, you're going to be pushing back against something that benefits you personally or you as a community. Shelley went to show. We'll be right back. Coming up next, we're going to talk about U.S. aid cancellations. Also, there's an interesting story coming out of New Orleans. We got to talk about it. It's not big, but got to talk about it. Shelley went to show. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're out at 8 o'clock. We'll be right back.